Hi everybody, I hope all is well in your world. In today's video, we'll take a look at both flavors of the Wilson Shift and the Furi Arma Pro 98. Before we start, please like, share, subscribe, and comment your thoughts below. You can also support us on Buy Me a Coffee. Link is below and in the description. For more playtest video, I did a session with just the two Wilson Shifts with Jason and Ryan, and a session with Tito where we tested the Wilson Shift and the Furi Arma Pro 98. First, let's talk about the Wilson Shift. I was intrigued by this racket since I read it shares aspects of the Wilson Clash, Blade, and Ultra. Before moving to the Diadem Nova I have today, maybe a couple years ago, I was using the Wilson Burn. So this definitely piqued my interest. Let's talk about the specs. According to Tennis Warehouse, where I demoed these from, head size, both the Wilson Shift 300 and 315, 99 square inch head. String pattern on a 300 is 16 by 20. On the 315, it's 18 by 20. Swing weight, 320 for the 300, 329 for the 315. Stiffness rating is the same on both of those at 68. And the weight's lighter on the 300 at 11.2 ounces, and the 315 to 11.7 ounces. Again, these are unstrung specs, and probably change it up if you put a dampener and what strings you put on there. I think these came with multi-filaments for demos, so even different there. Now let's compare these spec-wise to the other three rackets I mentioned before. Just to keep a consistency on specs, I'm only using the Blade 98 V8 with the 18 by 20 string pattern. There are several flavors of the Blade out there. I think I saw a 104 size square inch head. But for this comparison, let's look at how it stacks up. So the Wilson Blade 98 V8, 98 square inch head, 18 by 20 string pattern, swing weight 327, stiffness rating is 60, and the weight is 11.3 ounces. Wilson Clash, I'm using the 100 V2, again 100 square inch head, 16 by 19 string pattern, weight at 313, stiffness down to 57, and this comes at a weight 11 ounces. And then the Wilson Ultra, which is probably known as a power racket, 100 square inches, 16 by 19 string pattern, 317 in the swing weight, stiffness at 70, and then a weight at 11.20 ounces. I will also note that the Shift has a iridescent look on the paint job. This may change once it's past its prototype stage that they're selling. But anyways, when I first played with these, I used the 300 first, and it seemed very similar to my Nova. I'm assuming that's just because it's the same weight. Over time, I liked the 315 more. It might have been the string pattern. These two played like totally different rackets, even though they're both under the same Shift moniker. The 300 felt like it wasn't enough behind my shots. The 315, it was more effortless power, and yet still had control. These both feel like comfort rackets with a plush feel. If you keep the racket speed through your shots, it will reward you. When I hit through it well, I felt like I couldn't hit the ball long. It wants spin, so hitting flat, I did find a few shots going out. After each playtest, I did notice some soreness on my elbow. That might be me getting used to a different racket or obvious flaws in my swing path. I did like the Shift. I did want to like it enough to make the jump. But like the Clash a few years back, I didn't feel it compelling enough to make that decision. And this is when I was using the Burn, which I felt were pretty similar in feel. If I didn't already have the Diadem Nova that I've had for a couple of years, I might have considered making this jump. Now, keep in mind, this is technically a prototype for Wilson Labs, so we haven't even seen its final form. Let's see what Tito thought of the Wilson Shift. All right, Tito, so we just did the play test with the Wilson Shifts. What do we got here? We got the 300 gram and the 315. What's the big difference between the two?
Well, this is the 300. Yeah.
300 feels like I would say the lighter Portman versions of the pure Aero 98. It's a 16 by 20. It offers good spin, you know, but the only thing is it's not as powerful and it's not as stable as the pure Aero. The pure Aero 98, it has a little more power and spin, but just a little bit harder to control at times, where this has decent control for it because it's 16 by 20. But this is the one you need to buy, the 315. This one plays a lot better. It's 18 by 20.
String pattern.
String pattern. What's it called? It has decent power, nothing too crazy, but good enough. And it's predictable. Spin's predictable. Overall, everything I would say is a B grade. You know, there's nothing that's like stands out like to make it like say an A, like on like our serve or power or spin. Everything's a solid B. It's light. Even though it's 315, it's a lot of the weight is in the handle. It's easy to swing. Highly recommend it. If I were ever to use this or buy it, I would put a shape poly in there to give the extra spin I want, because I play with a lot of spin, so I can curve it in, or if I want to hit bigger. I say it could be a little jarring at times. It depends on the string you use. Maybe add some weight at the 3.9. But besides that, it's actually a pretty good racket, not gonna lie. Oh yeah, the handle's way too big. It feels way too big. Definitely go smaller, so you get more spin out of it.
Good.
Get this one, not this one. 315 for sure. Don't buy the 300.
Have you played with the Wilson Shift? Comment your thoughts below. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Which one do you like better, the 300 or the 315? Next, let's take a look at the Furi Arma Pro 98. Furi Sports is a fairly new racket and apparel company based out of New York. I never heard of this brand other than a few random reviews online, so it's good to see Tito bring a couple of these to play test. Let's look at the specs of the Arma Pro. This is a head size of 98 square inches, string pattern 16 by 19. All these stats are from Furi's website. The swing weight, they say 290 plus or minus 10, stiffness 64 plus or minus 2, and it weighs 10.8 ounces. Now, comparing this to either of the two Wilson Shift rackets, this is way more of a firm racket. Unless it was the strings I was using on the Shift, but it surprisingly feels great for being a headlight and definitely a control racket. This has some similarities to Wilson ProStaff. I'm sure you've heard that if you watch any other reviews on this. It's a nice racket. It feels good on the ground strokes and volleys. Perhaps play testing from a my normal Nova, then to the Shift, and then to this Arma Pro. It was, I don't know if it was too drastic, but I just had some trouble getting used to it. If I had more time than the 2 times out with this racket, maybe I'll change my tune. Again, it's a nice stick, and great to have another American company out there making tennis gear. Based on my limited exposure, there would be definitely a learning curve for me. Let's see what Tito thought of the Furi.
All right, so the other racket we play test today, actually you bought 2 of these.
Yes.
These are the, what are the?
This is a Furi Arma Pro 98. So this is like a ProStaff, but better power, more spin. And you definitely feel the spin and power. It is not that forgiving. I think my game improved a lot just with this, because I know what I'm getting is very predictable. Has more power than I'm used to, but not like dramatic power. There is a hot spot here and there, but I would say as like it's pretty good all around. As I like this way, I think I like this better than the Clash or the Shift 315, just because I get better control and I know where my balls are going. Definitely good for one-hand backhands. Forehand's good. Serve, my serve is not the best, but it slices right in, or it dives in, so that's good enough for me. But I say overall, this is a pretty good racket. If you want a better version of a ProStaff, grab this.
Just do it. Make your dreams come true. Do it. Nothing is impossible.
It's strung with Diadem Solstice Power 16 at 50 pounds. And that's what it needs, because of the extra spin and pops when it jumps from, like, once you swing, it kicks up high up, and it works well for me. Ask Leo.
I will say Tito did play well the last time we were playing with the Furi. Maybe some customization with adding weight or different strings would change the makeup of both the Shift and the Furi. What did you think? Have you tried either one of these two rackets? Have you tried the Furi? Are you a big fan? Have you tried the Shift? Are you a really big fan? That's all for now. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Comment your thoughts on either one of these two rackets. You can also support us on Buy Me a Coffee. Link below and in the description. Thanks for watching.